Hello everyone, this is Dr. Satish Santosh Bhornare, Department of Genetics and Plant Breeding, Ekewa College of Agriculture, Nasik. Today our topic is environmental science and its importance. So friends, what is actually environmental science is? By the definition, the system of various components of the environment, their interaction as well as their effect on the organism and organism's effect on the environment is called as environmental science or an applied science with multidisciplinary approach to study the management of an environment consisting of biotic, abiotic factor and issues that affects living organism to make human civilization sustainable. These are the definitions of the environmental science. By means we can study the environmental factors and their effect on organisms and organism effect on the environment. So, as we discuss, the environmental science is a multidisciplinary approach. Why this is so? Because the environmental science study the different sciences or branches. That's why this environmental science is called as a multidisciplinary approach, which having the study of these different sciences such as ecology, biology, and number of them. So this environmental science is a multidisciplinary approach to study or tackle the relation between organism and their environment. So the question is, why environmental science study? Why there is a need to study the environmental science? First one, the need of information that clarifies modern environmental concepts such as need to conserve the biodiversity, to lead more sustainable lifestyles, or to use resources more equitably. Second one is need to change the way in which we view our own environment using the practical approach based on the observation and self-learning. Third one is need to create the concern for our environment that will trigger pro-environmental actions, including simple activities we can do in our daily life to protect the environment. So these are the three main reasons for studying the environmental science. So next is, what are the importance of environmental studies or environmental sciences? So first one is environment issues being of international importance. So friends, today we all know that it has been well recognized that environmental issues are like global warming, ozone depletion, acid rain, marine pollution, and biodiversity degradation are not merely national issues but are the global issues and hence must be tackled with international efforts and cooperations. So this is the first importance of the environmental science. Then second one is problem crop in the wake of development. So the development in its wake gave a birth to the urbanization, industrial growth, transportation systems, agriculture and housing, etc. However, it has become phased out in the development world. The North, to cleanse their own environment, has factfully managed to move dirty factories of South. When the West developed, it did not. It did so perhaps in ignorance of the environmental impact of its activities. Evidently, such a path is neither practicable nor desirable, even if the development word follows that. Then, third one is explosively increasing pollution. World census reflects that one in every seven person in this planted lives in India. Evidently, With 16% of the world population and only 2.4% of its land area, there is a heavy pressure on natural resources including land. Agriculture experts have recognizedly say that soil health problems like deficiency of micronutrients and organic matter, soil salinity and damage of soil structure. Then fourth one is need for an alternative solution. It is essential, especially for the developing countries, to find alternative path to an alternative goal. We need a goal as under a goal with ultimately is the true goal of the development and environmentally sound and sustainable development. A goal common to all citizens of our earth. Then fifth one is need to save humanity from the extinction. It is incumbent upon to us to save a humanity from extinction. Consequent to our activities, constricting the environment and depleting the biosphere in the name of development. So there is a need to save the humanity from extinction. Next one is need for wise planning and development. So friends, our survival and sustenance depend resources we withdraw, processing and use of the product have all to by synchronize with the ecological cycle in any plane of the development. Our actions should be planned ecologically for the sustenance of the environment and the development. So these are the six major importance of the environmental science. Next is the scope of environmental studies. So as we discussed earlier, the importance of the environmental studies, there is a vast scope to study the environmental science. We can see one by one. First one is the study creates awareness among the people to know about various renewable and non-renewable resources of the region. Means these environmental studies give a scope to create awareness about these resources. The endowment or potential pattern of utilization and balance of various resources available for future use in the state of the country are analyzed in this study. So this environmental science is having a scope to study these various aspects of these resources. Second one is it provides the knowledge about ecological systems and cause and effect relationship. Third one is it provides necessary information about biodiversity richness and the potential dangers to the species of the plants, animals and microorganisms in the environment. So it gives the idea or information about the biodiversity. That's why we can potentially change the dangers of that biodiversity. Next one is the study enables one to understand the causes and consequences due to the natural and man-induced disaster. So this environmental study give idea or give opportunity to study the various natural disasters in advance so that we can minimize or mitigate the problems. Next one is it enables one to evaluate alternative response to the environmental issues before deciding on alternative course of action. The study enables environmentally literate citizens by knowing the environmental acts, rights, rules and regulation to make appropriate judgment and decision for the protection and improvement of the earth. So friends, these environmental studies gives the total information about the environment and the environment pro citizens. That's why we can make a decision for protection and improvement of our earth. Next one is this study exposes the problem over the population, health hygiene, and the role of art, science, and technology in eliminating or minimizing the evils from the society. So this is the ultimate aim of the environmental study, and having vast scope to eliminating or minimizing the evils which are discussed earlier from our society. Next one is, this study tries to identify and develop appropriate and indigenous eco-friendly skills and technologies to various environmental issues. So this is another scope of the environmental science. Next one is, it teaches the citizen the need for sustainable utilization of resources, as these resources are inherited from our ancestors to the younger generation, generating without deteriorating their quality. So there is a vast scope to protect our resources, because these resources are exhaustible and they are depleting day by day. Then last one is, this study enables theoretical knowledge into the practice and the multiple uses of the environment. And in lastly, we can see these environmental studies having scope because it provides the theoretical knowledge as well as the converting that knowledge into a practice, so that we can save our environment. So thank you friends. This video is for education purposes only, and references are as below. Thanks once again.